deeper things that are eating into wages, and it is the failure of the government to provide the needed amenities, the needed social services that ordinary. When we look at it from the surface, we tend to blame inflation. Yes, inflation has a lot to play, but one thing I've always advocated for every time I have an opportunity like this is that there are deeper things that are eating into wages, and it is the failure of the government to provide the needed amenities, the needed social services that ordinarily should not be a premium cost to the average Nigerian. We talk of security, we spoke about insecurity earlier on. Security services are not acting optimally. Rather, we get reports every day of the biggest fear of Nigerians being the security forces themselves. We see what is happening in recent times with the Nigerian police, and thankfully the Inspector General is making necessary moves to be able to change that narrative today. So today the average Nigerian has to provide their own security. For those who live in estates, they have to pay for security. For those who do not live in estates, they have to pay for community development to provide security for themselves. And for those who can also seemingly afford it, they provide their own private security in their own homes, somebody to watch over them through the night or through the day and all the rest of it. Then we'll move on to power infrastructure. We see how poor power is in the country today. I was reading a report recently and discovered that the improvement between now and the last 25 years has barely been 10 or 15%, which is, considering the amount of money that has been spent, considering what Nigerians are paying for electricity today, it's the resultant effect hasn't been so impressive. So what happens? The average Nigerian again has to provide alternative means of power supply, generators, solar energy, inverters, and all the rest of it. Those are costs that can be avoided. Then we now move on to healthcare. Again, the average Nigerian has to go to private facilities to get the kind of assistance that they require. Whereas I would expect that with the kind of taxes that we are being made to pay now and all the rest of it, to a certain level, healthcare should not be something that should worry anybody, at least up to a certain age. If, for example, we had free health for children, free health for elders, then it just leaves that middle ground for people who are working to pay something towards their healthcare. We move on to education. It's the same thing. People are paying for private education. We move on to transportation. People are paying heavily and even scared of traveling. If we look at the terrain of